to remind me something, and he's like, "Did you just draw in my head?" Like, I
Just
did
got
not
that.
draw in your head.
She
That
just
was
recorded
recorded.
that.
Oh, good. That's good. You can edit that out.
Okay, where are we?
Okay, so we're looking at his spelling.
Those are mine?
Are you sure?
I have a big pile right here. I made copies for everyone, so.
Oh,
I'll
I
take
did
them.
It's
too.
okay. We have extras now.
Isn't that funny? I kinda had a feeling you might do that, yeah.
Okay, so
Punctuation now?
No, we're in spelling.
spelling
We didn't
still
decide.
between kindergarten or grade 1 or in the middle.
Well, you can read her writing,
Mm-hmm.
or his writing.
He has a letter for each
Each
sound.
sound, yeah.
Yeah.
And
You-
use
all
word
of-
walls,
right,
the word
his
wall words.
Sight words are spelled correctly. And I think he even used chunks here because go in.
And you know him, so where do you feel? Do you feel,
I feel like spelling wise he does a good job.
so the writer, so first grade,
And I think that the first grade is more a phonetic spelling. I
Right.
think that fits what he's
Mhm.
got here. So I would say he's probably a first grade level
first grade level?
Yeah.
on his spelling.
Okay, so punctuation. The writer put spaces. So use lowercase letters. Unless capitals were
They
needed.
were kind of all over, but their
Yeah.
lowercase letters just kind
Yeah,
of floating.
the size, yeah, and he doesn't, he has trouble with neatness, so.
Capital letter, is it one
No.
sentence?
Well, technically they both do because they start with I.
Is this?
Yeah.
I think so,
Yeah,
I'm
he
going
just
to
didn't-
dad's, I'm
He
going
just
to
didn't
my
have
father.
punctuation.
So,
So. it's
so would he
gonna
be in between?
Yeah, because the
He
next one
doesn't
says he has punctuation and he missed some.
And he didn't use capital letters
Yeah.
for names either.
Oh,
And
yeah.
no commas. Woo.
So would he be kindergarten then, instead of middle, or do we put him?
Put spaces between words, the writer used
Because
lowercase
he got
letters
one
and
period.
capital letters when needed, the writer wrote capital letters in every sentence.
I would say at this point, he's more of a kindergarten level.
Because the only thing he has from first grade is one period, he didn't even get all the punctuation.
Yeah.
And so I don't, yeah. it's-
So he's
You
got,
know, and I am going to dad's, dad is dad's name,
mhm,
there's no capital letter,
mhm.
Oh, I have.
you know?
Alright,
Do you, when
address
you
that?
call them mom, dad, that's their name, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
wow.
So,
that either.
I don't either. That's a good thing to know.
we talk about proper nouns all the time, yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never really thought of
I
it that
know,
way,
me
I
neither.
guess. Thanks, Mom, I just learned that too.
Okay, punctuation again. Oh,
And this
is
starts
this
with
just
first grade. Is this? see,
a, or is this just a continuum?
Oh.
see,
of
this
the
is
other
what
page?
came from her site.
Oh, I think
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
I think, does it just continue? Because it says continued on
But
the
it
top.
starts one, I don't know.
But the one is the same. I think it's
No.
just
Oh,
showing
it's
2,
just
3, 4 if
continuing,
they,
Okay,
Okay, good.
so if we put them on the lower end, we don't have to do
don't have to
the,
worry about it.
okay.
All right, do we wanna do another low level one? Do we
Yeah, I
wanna just
think
try
so.
and,
Yeah.
you know, we'll try and knock some more out?
Yeah. And I think after we get used to it, we'll go
Right.
quicker.
Okay.
Can we
Okay.
do this one? Okay. I went to the fire department. No punctuation. I got on the fire truck and sprayed water.
With the fire truck.
And these, yeah,
Mhm.
that's what she said. She's like, what's that? I go, that's the end to truck.
Uh-huh.
And these,
Like, is this a word by itself?
and
Are
he
those
is,
lines?
Those are
yes,
spaces.
he is one that we've been working on spaces. So when he brought it up to me, he said, I have lines where my spaces are, which is,
I have an idea to help that.
do you?
Mm-hmm.
And, but you can read it, I mean, this is improvement because typically his writing looks like a whole bunch of letters. And it was hard for me to read.
So he was thinking.
Yeah, and and I can read it, because before I couldn't really read it. And
Okay.
I-
Okay.
All right, overall,
So-
the writer told a story with pictures and some writing.
Yes.
The writer told, drew, and wrote a whole story.
Of going to the fire department,
Mhm.
getting
Got on
the
the
fire
truck,
And
spraying
and
water.
also spraying water. There's really not an ending.
But the writer, remember back to how we filled out yours, we put
Mhm.
it in the mid.
Right, we said he
Because-
did this, cause it started a story.
The
Yeah,
writer
this is
wrote
good, it's
about
interesting.
when she did something.
Yeah.
Wow, that's, could be a first grade thought.
Mm-hmm. For the overall idea of the narrative.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean,
What
I
about
would
this,
think it would
look
be
at second
first
grade
grade.
though even,
The writer.
wrote about one time.
when he did something. It's a specific, well,
Mm-hmm. It's hard to separate.
How does it start out?
I went to, so he doesn't really have an there's
I went
no
to the fire
transition
department.
words. He
And I'm
got
just
on
trying to
board.
figure out how we can solidify the one time.
Right. Would that be like a really small moment that they like really expand on?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You know what it is,
Instead
it's
of-
because it was fire safety week.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if maybe he said for fire safety week,
Then it would
then
be
it would
specified,
solidify
yeah.
one time.
Okay,
I mean, we
okay.
can assume that that's what it is, but
Yep.
he doesn't.
He doesn't
Tell
tell
us
us.
that.
Okay, so
I
then
would
let's
say
do
grade
first
one.
grade.
Yeah. Okay. So beginning. Very straight drawing or saying something.
I wonder if we have someone read out loud if we're videoing this, so that if we share it.
Oh,
Just
okay.
read like each section.
Yes.
Okay. Who wants to do that?
I can, if
I'll
you
do
want
it.
me.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So pre-K would be the writer started by drawing or saying something. Kindergarten, the writer had a page that showed what happened first.
Yeah, part, that's true.
A part.
Page with part.
Okay. A part that showed what happened first. First grade, the writer tried to make a beginning for his story. And yeah, grade 2 is a good beginning and chose a way to start and
Yeah.
chose action, talk, or setting that would make a good beginning.
So thinking
So-
about the category being the lead, leading you into
To
a
the
story.
story.
Yeah,
There's
that's,
really not a lot of leading.
right,
Mm-mm.
It's just.
which
the
would be
story.
like an opening sentence or a hook.
Right.
or a-
Right.
Yeah.
But if you were to say during fire safety week,
Then it would
that
have
would
been
have been
a better
part of
lead,
Right.
okay.
Mhm.
So more towards the kindergarten maybe?
You think in
or-
between?
Or did the writer
Okay.
just start by drawing or saying something? I went to
I think
the fire
that's-
department. I think he just
Okay.
started by saying,
Okay.
Okay,
telling
so
you
we're
what he
gonna
did,
put pre-K on that?
don't you think?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is really good, because this will help our
Mhm.
instruction.
Okay.
Okay, so transitions. Pre-K, the writer kept on working. Kindergarten, the writer put his pages in order or parts in order. First grade, the writer put their parts in order. They used words such as and then, so.
Which we know we don't have that, right? He doesn't have and, then, or so.
He does
Are
have
the
and
parts in
here.
order?
I got on the fire truck and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not really,
But he put the
Right.
parts in order, I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah,
Mhm.
cause he went,
Do you think since there's one and, would it be mid-level or would it be kindergarten? Cause.
Well, they're in
Oh,
order.
it could be mid-level.
I think
went to
mid-level.
the
I think he's
fire
got some
department.
of it, yeah.
I got on the fire truck and
Spray.
sprayed water.
Water.
I mean,
so you can tell
Mhm.
kind of the
Yeah.
steps he
Right, the
was running
order.
through,
Mhm.
and
yeah,
that's
He just only used
more
one word.
complex
yeah,
sentence or,
Right.
or leading into.
Mhm.
Yeah.
which
So
under
mid-level?
transitions, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think between kindergarten and grade 1.
Okay.
Okay, ending. Pre-K, the writer's story just ended. Kindergarten, the writer had a section that showed what happened last in their story. Grade 1, the writer found a way to end his story.
I don't really,
think
there's
it
not
just
really,
ended.
it just stopped.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
think
what
we
you
said
said.
it was
about
awesome,
tears.
Right,
or
yeah,
Yeah.
him
yeah.
and some
So you
sort of-
back here at the beginning again,
Yep.
and I'm gonna put stopped right here, cause that makes it very clear.
Okay, organization, a pre-K. On the writer's paper, there was a place for drawing and a place where they wrote words.
I did.
Sorry, oh my god.
Oh. Kindergarten, the writer's story had a page or a what did I say?
Part or
Part,
section, yeah.
sorry. Part for the beginning and a part for the middle and a part for the end. The writer wrote their story in more than 3 or more parts,
Mm.
I think.
I was gonna say right down
Yeah.
here, probably.
Just has
Pre-K?
the, yeah. Okay. Elaboration, pre-K, the writer put more and then more on the page. Kindergarten, the writer's story indicated who was there, what they did, and how they felt.
Okay, so again, we're leaving out that feeling part,
Right.
Yeah.
but I think he's got,
And his people don't have
they don't
mouths.
have mouths.
Who was there, he's
His
got who
picture.
was there, he's got
Mhm,
what
he
they
went.
did,
Yep, they got on the fire truck.
and
He
how
squirted
they
water.
felt.
So You think like in that middle again, kind of like you
That's
did
what
with
we did it,
Cause
yeah.
if you think, if they
They
put
got
how
part of
they
it.
felt, that could be a conclusion, that could
Right.
take care of
Oh,
so
yeah.
Right.
many
We had
more
fun,
things.
or-
Yeah.
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 This is the coolest thing.
yeah,
Mhm.
wrap,
You
it
know?
would kind of
Yeah.
wrap up the story too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so craft, pre-K, in the writer's story, they told and showed what happened. Kindergarten, the writer drew and wrote some details about what happened.
Mhm.
Yes, some details. Grade 1, the writer used labels and words to give details. So no labels, but does that only mean in the picture or words in the text?
I think
I
it
would
would
say
be both.
Both.
Combination. Which maybe we need to start telling our, you know, and this helps, again,
Yeah.
to
It
guide our
helps us,
instruction.
yeah.
Okay, when you're done, label your picture.
I did
Yeah.
some
Label,
labeling at the
like
beginning when we
captions.
first started,
Yeah.
but I haven't been focusing on it. So, because that is one of the things on the posters. So, you would think between kindergarten and grade 1, or did he not give enough details in the words to give him any part of grade 1?
Went on the fire truck. Well, went to the fire station.
Yeah.
On the
How do
truck,
we-
sprayed water.
How do we decide between wrote some details about what happened and
Ooh, that one's really
give
big.
details?
Maybe the giving the details would give more feeling.
Or like
If you
more
think of craft, you think of
like
voice, you
describing
think
words?
Yeah,
of,
like
not voice, you think of word
Word
choice.
choice.
Yeah, word choice. Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I think of.
it's pretty
Gives-
plain.
Yes.
Right.
There's, it's
Right.
very
There's no
generic.
juice.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's not like,
It's not really descriptive
you
or
know, I
anything.
use the nozzle to, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
like a word choice word. So
on,
you
or
think
I
of,
got on the huge fire
Right, I was gonna
truck.
say
Or
even
the
some more
fire
adjectives.
engine.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we're,
I would
we're
say
descriptive.
kindergarten then, just
Yeah.
the writer drew and wrote some details about what
Okay.
happened.
Alright, spelling. Pre-K, the writer could read his pictures and some of his words. The writer tried to make words. Kindergarten, the writer could read their writing. They wrote a letter for the sounds they heard. The writer used the word wall to help them spell.
Mm,
So can we just, when it says that, just be looking at sight words, as if they spelled their sight words correctly?
I would
Okay.
think so.
Grade 1, the writer used all they knew about words and chunks of words to help them spell. The writer spelled all the word wall words right and used the word wall to help him spell other words.
This is what I was just looking at, he has the here, and it's right, and then he has it there, and it's
And
wrong.
went.
Went,
Got, he's got that.
and he spelled right.
And.
So he's kind of,
In
he's getting
between.
some, but not all of
And
them
most of the sounds you can figure out.
on,
Spray, just the P's backwards. Water, he sounded out.
and fire department,
Mhm.
that's a big word, you
Right,
know?
fire truck, he got most of the sounds.
Yeah, cause there's a C.
Fire truck.
So, I don't know, maybe he's in between
In
those
between.
two.
Cause he didn't get all the word wall
Cause
words.
it's, yeah, sight words aren't quite there, but I could highlight that he used chunks
Mhm.
in the first grade. So he's mid-level, and then he needs to work on this maybe, on the sight words. Okay.
and that's just a good reminder, again, go back and reread what you've written. If it's a word wall word, use your materials in the room.
I was gonna
to
say,
spell
is
it
it-
correctly
I
to-
said that, you know, I said use your resources.
This is Ricky, please
Okay.
call 1000.
And punctuation. Pre-K, the writer could label pictures. They could write their name. Kindergarten, the writer put spaces between their words. They used lowercase letters unless capitals were needed. The writer wrote capital letters to start every sentence. He's kind of got capitals and
He's
lowercase
kind of all
over the
over,
place.
cause there's
Yeah.
a capital
There's
D.
one.
Yeah, so that's probably not his strong point.
But he had, well, and what do we do with the spaces since the
Well,
lines?
he put a line there, I mean,
So
that's.
we count it as a
he's
space,
space.
right.
That's his indicator.
Yes,
Right.
I think, yeah, we'll
Okay,
say now.
so he has
now
the
it's space without the
spaces.
line.
You don't need the lines.
Not quite lowercase unless capitals, and he doesn't have capitals to start every
I would
sentence.
say
So
Well,
I,
his
that's
sentences start
pretty-
with I,
I went to the
fire department.
I got the
Which-
fire truck
and-
okay,
and
and he's just missing one period.
So
I mean, I
more
would just
that
think
mid?
the writer used lowercase letters unless capitals, that would be the area he needs
Okay.
to work on,
Yeah, yeah, so he's probably mid,
yeah.
you think?
Yeah,
Well, he
Well,
only
he's
uses
got capitals,
one- And he only
and he has
uses one,
spaces.
one ending punctuation though at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got 2 of the 3 for kindergarten.
So would I put,
Would that make him mid?
make him a mid-level and then just highlight the
Right.
things he's got?
Mid pre-K, K,
Yes.
yes, I would
Yes.
think that that would
And
be.
then
Yeah.
just highlight that he's got,
He's got the
Spaces.
spaces and the capitals to start,
Yeah.
and then
as
this
long
would
as he
be,
would have it if they weren't I also.
well, and I don't know lines, I'm gonna indicate he
Yeah.
doesn't need to use lines to make his spaces.
Okay.
Alright. Do we wanna do one that's a different level?
Yeah.
I kind of, can we just talk about this one?
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
I think
Do you
she's,
wanna do it?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. She's in my advanced reading, like she goes and sees Mrs. Buckton. But I would like to know what your opinion is because I have her in my low and just see what you guys think. So my favorite thing is money. How I get money is my,
Allowance.
oh, I
Yes.
couldn't figure that out, I love it, allowance. First, my mom says that I have to save my money to buy stuff. Next, I go shopping. Then my dad says, don't get your money, or don't forget your money. Finally, the end. Now, mommy and daddy don't have to yell. Then they yell, Hazy, to clean up your room. Do you think this was a low? I didn't really, there was no narrative to it.
You know, I think, let's go through and do this and
And
see
see.
where
Let's
she
see
ends
where
up.
she
Yeah.
Yeah.
falls.
Mhm.
Okay.
She might be high,
Mhm.
you know, when you're reading, but that doesn't mean
Yeah,
she's gonna
no,
be
right.
high in
No,
the writing.
right.
No,
And she may be higher than you think once you go through and look
Right.
at all
Okay,
this.
yeah.
I
And
think it's
so-
hard when you look at it as a whole to,
yeah, okay. I had her in the low and I wasn't sure, and so this will be a good one to,
yeah, let's
It's
see.
funny though, think about what you're looking at here and there's the order words and things
Mhm.
like that compared to what
Right.
we
Right.
had for a low.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, let's.
Yeah, and I
let's
don't
walk-
see her on par with that. I mean,
Mhm.
I
I don't
see
either.
And
her-
she even sort of has a beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it.
let's
Are
try
you
it.
sure?
See where she
Yes,
lands,
yes,
yes.
I'm using your pink highlighter, it's fine.
Let's see where we end up.
Okay, so overall, pre-K, the writer told a story with pictures and some writing. Kindergarten, the writer told, drew, and wrote a whole story. Grade 1, the writer wrote about when she did something. Grade 2, the writer wrote about one time when she did something. It's in between.
I would say
1 or
mid-level. I mean, cause she's,
Mid-level what?
2, between
Between 1
1
and
or
2.
2.
what,
Or even
remind me
1.
again, what did we say this was gonna look like? What did we think that would look like?
Specified
Like
that
what
it was
time
one.
of year it
Okay,
was.
okay, yeah, okay. So I don't
So
really
I'm not
see
sure
where
she's
that's
there.
Her favorite thing is money,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
no
it doesn't-
specific.
It's not like she was saving for Christmas or she was
Mhm.
saving for an event.
Yeah.
Or if she's talking about, one time going shopping.
Yeah, I
Right.
And
mean,
how she got her
It's
money
just
to go
very
shopping.
General.
mhm.
So
So
I'm
grade
even
one-
thinking down here for thought process. The writer.
No, the
No,
writer
I
wrote
think
about
she told about when
did
she did
something. She wrote about
Okay.
when she did something,
Mhm.
how
Okay.
she, what's important to her, how she got her money, what she
Mhm.
wanted to do with her money. I think, don't get lost in how she ended it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So, cause we'll get to that. Think
Mhm.
about,
Okay,
Yeah, I think she definitely wrote about when she did something.
Yeah.
okay.
So we'll go to grade 1. Alright, lead. The writer started by drawing or saying something. The writer, kindergarten, the writer had a page that showed what happened first. Grade 1, the writer tried to make a beginning for their story. Grade 2, the writer thought about how to write a good beginning and choose a way to start her story. She chose the action, talk, or setting that would make a good beginning.
I think that's a good
I
beginning.
do
Money
too.
is
It's
my
like, oh,
allowance.
well,
Why-
because she's
I know.
telling you that what she likes about it and
Mhm.
how she does it.
My favorite thing is money. I'll be curious to read about why your favorite
Yeah.
thing is money or what else you
And
have
how I
to
get my
say.
money is saving my allowance. I mean,
Mhm.
she's very clear on what the paper's gonna be about,
Mhm.
her narrative's gonna be about.
So if you don't, I mean, maybe it's
No.
not, it doesn't
I
have
was
to say
thinking, yeah,
anything.
maybe
Mid-level.
mid between grade
Oh,
1
And then
and grade 2.
highlight some of the things
What do
you
you
see
think?
in here.
I think
Maybe
this
you're
is
being-
good conversation because
Mhm.
now I'm seeing it more than what I was
maybe you're just,
originally.
Right.
yeah,
And
because
it's
we-
hard when you know the child
Like
and
I
you
was,
know.
I was disappointed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think your expectations
Yep.
are getting in the way of what
Yeah.
she's actually doing
Too
and what
critical.
she needs to work on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get it.
So I think in the middle, yeah.
Seriously, you can do more.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, that
But
was
you can
like
write
one
a
of my.
story.
But this is gonna hone in on what she needs to do better.
Sure, and that's why I wanted to do this one, so I knew
Yeah.
how.
Well, and I would look here and I would highlight some of the things she's got, cause she's got some of those beginning,
To write a good beginning.
she
chose
has,
a way to start her story.
yeah,
Mhm.
you know.
She chose action.
Right, and
Yep.
she even has more than one sentence, you know, she
That's a
really has a
Good
beginning,
starter.
right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So transitions, pre-K, the writer kept on working. Kindergarten, the writer put his parts in order. Grade 1, the writer put her parts in order. She used words such as and then, so, but she used
Which
words.
she
She just
did.
did
She
his
said
order
First and finally, and there's another one too.
Next.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
finally.
first, then, and finally.
Finally,
Mhm.
finally the end, yeah.
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 So she has her order words.
Mhm.
Okay, so grade 2 would be the writer told the story in order by using words such as when, then, and after.
This is so specific here to those
Mm-hmm.
words.
And why do you think that is? Why wouldn't, I mean,
Why is
What's
when
the
and then
difference?
and after
Yeah,
better
what-
than
what's the
first
difference?
and
so?
next and
Two
finally?
grade levels.
Maybe because in first grade you're like, and we did this, and we did this, then we did this, you know, and maybe with
But in
when
second,
is more descriptive, cause it tells
a time.
when
Well,
I'm
then
ready,
is in
getting
both.
ready for school, I blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I wonder if it just tells a little more detailed part,
Then just like
And then,
connecting
you know,
to
And just connecting with like finally
you
next
know, or
then and.
after I got my allowance, I was ready to,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So-
think it just tells a little bit
Mhm.
more.
So I think
So
she's
maybe
more
first grade there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Ending, pre-K, the writer's story ended. Kindergarten, the writer had a part that showed what happened last in her story. Grade 1, the writer found a way to end their story. Grade 2, the writer chose the action, talk, or feeling that would make a good ending.
You know, like after thinking about this and talking with you guys, her ending, then they yell, Hazy, to clean up your room. Well, that's how she gets her allowance. That's how she gets her
I know,
money.
she
And then
is
she
really
goes,
kind of, there's the
Yeah,
feeling.
she has a feeling where,
She has the feeling in it.
Yeah.
I mean, she did
So,
a,
I mean, it's kind of
Right.
like a circle story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
like it could
Comes
keep going.
back
Yes.
to-
And she
yeah.
could
Because
keep
I go and I
going.
spend
Right.
my money and I love money and now,
Now I have to
gotta
clean
go
again.
do my
I
job
think-
and I
get
think
my
just
allowance.
this sentence, finally the end, is throwing it off.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
And
she
this
has
is
a good
why-
ending.
Mhm.
It's good for us to have them read it to us,
Yeah.
so we
So she
can
can-
ask questions
Yeah.
and maybe clarify, so when
Uh-huh.
and maybe we need to make sure we do that the day that they turn it in before we do this.
yeah, okay.
And we can jot little notes down,
Yep.
Mhm.
read it fine, or,
Well, and
If
some
you
of
not
them might
post it.
read with some feeling too,
Right,
at the very
right.
end.
Mm-hmm.
And you could put it, put
Right.
feeling,
Mhm.
she had feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she did a good job with it.
Right.
Yeah, after thinking about the allowance and the cleaning
Right.
the room.
Okay, so
I mean, she has all the parts for the second grade.
she chose the action, talk, or feeling that would make a good ending.
Yeah.
So are you thinking about? I was just like, this is not a narrative. It's not a story. But talking through it,
it's good
Yeah.
conversation.
it is. Yeah.
I think
So do you
she's
think
higher.
second or mid-level?
I almost wonder if maybe you need to have her read this back to you and
Okay.
tell a little bit before you fill that out.
Right.
Okay.
Because
what
it
To
her
will-
see
feelings
how
are.
she
Because
reads
maybe
it.
she was like, oh, it was the end, and maybe she did mean to end it here, and then just was like, okay, there's more time, I guess I better write some more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
true.
So we'll just leave that one for now.
Okay.
So organization, pre-K, on the writer's paper, there was a place for drawing and a place where she wrote words. Kindergarten, the writer's story had a part for the beginning, a part for the middle, and a part for the end.
Limited edition and Shopkins. That must be what she bought.
First
Look at
grade,
the
yeah,
register
there's the
and-
cash register, yeah. Grade 1, the writer wrote her story in 3 or more parts.
Mhm.
Grade 2, the writer wrote a lot of lines on a page and wrote a lot of parts.
Yeah.
Well, she does have a lot of parts because she
Mhm.
goes from,
I get my allowance,
right,
then
to
I get my,
shopping.
then I get my money to buy stuff,
I go
Yeah.
I
shopping.
go shopping,
Some dialogue in
right,
there.
Dad
Yeah.
says, don't forget your money.
Yeah.
So what are you fluctuating from?
I'm thinking,
There's definitely 3 or more parts,
Mhm.
don't
Yeah.
you think?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm thinking kind of
I'm
mid-level
thinking kind of
here.
in between.
Mhm.
grade
I'm
one and grade
wondering
two.
if, knowing her and knowing where she's at, and maybe this, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't think of it this way. If there are more, I guess I'm trying to think of second grade writing at this stage as far as organization. Do you think it's up to second grade level, or do you think it's
See,
mid-level?
I think if it was second grade, then she would say like, I bought this at the store,
Yeah, be more
or
detailed, have more
tell.
details.
Add-
Because she
Yeah.
could definitely expand
Mhm.
on
Yeah.
that.
So I think she's definitely got the first grade
It's
down.
just like one sentence per
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
area.
I'm almost wondering if you keep her more around that first grade level, she has a lot she could go.
Grow, and
Push her
then,
toward.
and then,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
Okay.
if you keep her there at this point, she's got a lot of room. Yeah.
I'm gonna add a little.
Now we're gonna run out of time here. I wonder, I think
Oh,
today
shoot.
during, which we'll finish this up, but I wanna say this before we go. I think today during writing time, I'm gonna pull my kids back and have them
And
read
read
it
it.
to me.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Cause I wrote down what I thought they said, but
Okay.
I need to know if they can read
Feely.
it back,
Mhm.
even after so many
Right.
days.
Yeah.
And I need to make
That'll
sure that I
especially
have
show.
the right, so while they're working on their narratives that they started yesterday, I think I'm gonna pull them back and have everyone read.
Okay.
So that way, I at least, this is good that we did this, cause
Mhm.
It is.
And it takes a lot longer than.
And you know what? It makes me think too, like my high kids that I took out just because they didn't have order words doesn't necessarily mean they could still score high on here,
right.
Yeah, they
even
could.
if they didn't.
If you can tell there's a distinct
Right.
order of their events.
Let me just find it quick so you guys can see if you think the same thing. Okay. My dad is going to invite his friends. We are going to have fun. I think we are going to grill out with music and we'll eat ice cream with our friends.
Oh.
So I don't know if it'd be high, but
There's lots of detail.
Not
Well,
very
it
many.
talks about the beginning.
my dad is
Inviting.
going to invite friends over.
It doesn't-
Feeling we're gonna have fun. I think we're going to grill out with music and we'll eat ice cream with our friends.
Oh.
I would say.
I mean,
it's
her
about-
punctuation and her capitals and stuff,
Mrs. Perry,
I
please
bet
call
it would fall out
1000.
more towards the middle.
like in the middle.
Just because
Okay.
there's not the transition
Right.
words, there's,
There's not a
You know,
definite, like,
beginning,
head
middle, yeah.
beginning,
Mhm.
yeah,
and like, I mean, there's great craft
Right.
in
yeah,
word choice.
you're right,
Mhm.
craft is good.
See, that's
but
what, this was my one kinda like this, where I was like, oh,
I
Well,
think
and let me just show you
you
this
know,
one real quick too,
yeah.
because, and we'll,
no, I'm like,
okay, so this is,
Pretty good, actually.
I guess it was time to get a haircut. First, I go to the bathroom. Next, my mom gets the clippers out. Then my mom cuts my hair with the clippers. Last, my mom is done with my haircut. My parents say my hair looks good, and I did not like the haircut.
Is that
That's
a-
awesome.
But I was like,
that's awesome.
and he's the only one that, I mean, this, when I think of this, he's the one who, with the mentor text.
Yeah,
That
you
you
guys use
got
that
it.
mentor.
But you know how many times I went to him and said, that's not okay? I mean, he would be first, next, done, last, done.
Mhm.
So even on this
That's
on demand?
awesome.
No,
you t-
No,
oh,
no,
okay.
during his writing time, he'd just be sitting there, I'm done, I already did too. Well,
Oh.
let's read them. You're
Mhm.
not done. You're
Mhm.
not giving me detail. Well, you're not gonna invite the reader
You
in.
got it, yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
So I would like to sit, if we have time even, you
Mhm.
know, at some point
Yeah.
to go over this with someone.
Yeah.
But this is my one where I was like, okay, at least he,
Mhm.
after how much conversation,
Mhm.
got it.
I think overall, like for me, when I went through them, the introductory, some of them, like I had a couple start once upon a time, and once they got started, but then they kind of lost the transition words as they went through it. Like they didn't really put steps in order, like kind of walk me through the story. It was just kind of, they just told a story. But they had a great introductory and then kind of fell apart. You know what I
And
mean?
that's what those would be great to come back with the graphic organizers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And maybe you get your thoughts down, bing, 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 bing.
yeah. Yeah, and then put it
And
together.
then, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
And even in the graphic organizers, you could put some words that they could use to transition
uh-huh.
into the different parts.
Mhm. Yeah,
I mean, this is gonna lend itself to so many mini lessons.
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely.
to
Yeah, and you're
figure
gonna
out.
find too, like things that you might see across the entire class that you're like, whoa, I really need to hone in on this
Right.
as a whole class.
I wanna see what you guys think about this one.
Whoa, look at that picture.
Yeah, he's
Oh, that's
very
cool.
detailed. So when I grow up, I wanna be an astronaut. First, I wonder what it feels like taking off. I will be floating in the rocket ship. I will have goosebumps when I take off.
Gosh.
Next, when I get there, I will walk on the moon. It would look really cool on the moon. Then I will put an American flag on the moon. I will get samples of moon rocks on the moon. Last, I will come back and eat dinner with my family. Do you think this would be in advanced, even though it's,
Yeah,
even though it starts out with
I think it would because
when I grow up?
if
I
you
think
think of the
it's still
rubric,
an introduction to saying.
It's not really a story, it's a kind of a dream, I
but
would
that's
say.
okay, but that's a narrative. I mean,
Mhm.
narratives
Okay.
don't
He's
have to
telling
be
his plan.
when he
Okay.
grows up. Mhm.
Okay,
And the craft in that, the word choice in
Right.
that is
He-
amazing,
yeah,
and
he
the
uses
feeling,
yeah.
the feeling
Mhm.
words and.
Well, and I think maybe we just
I like
need to
this.
get away from like wondering who's a high, who's a not.
Right,
just
look at the
it and
writing.
just wonder, I wonder where they're gonna land.
Yeah, I think you're exactly
Or what they need to work on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter
where they land. No,
Right.
it's what do you, because in that one, if you think of the rubric, there's a lot of good parts of the rubric in there.
Yes.
But there's, and some of your kids that you thought were lower have a lot of good parts.
Oh
I
my
mean, they've got a
goodness.
lot of good things.
Yes.
It's
Do
just,
do we want to, and if you don't, it's not a big deal, do we want to try over the weekend to get these all graded and then come and talk real quick about how we
About all of
do
them or just our three we chose? Or all? Just for clarifying, all of them is
I'm
fine.
thinking all of them.
Okay.
I know, sorry. I don't know if I can even get it done, or as many done as you can, and then at least come together Monday morning and see how we would group them, like by our classes.
yeah, Monday morning I have a meeting, we have a meeting. I don't know if I'm gonna turn that off, but, we had to switch PLC.
Oh, at 8:15 we have a meeting.
We have